Welcome to The Explainer. Today we are digging into the AI release that, arguably changed the entire game back in late 2025. I'm talking about Anthropic's Claude Opus 4.5.
All right, so to really get why Opus 4.5 was such a big deal, we have to set the stage. You have to understand the absolutely wild, high-stakes environment it was born into.
So get this, in November of 2025, the whole AI world was just rocked. We saw 3 massive flagship releases in less than 10 days. Can you believe that? It basically created this hyper-competitive showdown between the biggest players in the game, all fighting for the top spot. So in one corner, you had Google's Gemini 3 Pro. Think of it as the creative powerhouse, It was amazing with video, audio, and images. And then, in the other corner, you had OpenAI's GPT 5.1 Codex Max, a straight-up master of really complex, agent-like coding. These were the giants.
So the big question is, how did Anthropic respond to all this? Did they try to build a model that could do everything? Not at all. They took a totally different, way more focused path.
Yeah, instead of trying to go head-to-head with the giants, Anthropic got smart. They positioned Opus 4.5 as a specialist. It wasn't meant to be a jack of all trades, nope. It was built to be a master of one thing, something they called deep work.
And this whole deep worker strategy, it really boils down to 3 key things. First, becoming an absolute master at coding. Second, powering the next wave of autonomous AI agents. And third, and this is cool, using a computer flawlessly, just like a human expert would.
Okay, so how on earth did they actually pull this off? Well, it all comes down to some brand new tech that powered this whole specialized approach. And honestly, this is where Opus 4.5 really starts to shine.
The most groundbreaking piece of this puzzle is something they called the effort parameter. Think about it. For the very first time, developers got direct control over the model's brain power. You could literally dial up or dial down how much thinking it should do for any specific task.
And this flexibility is it's a game changer. You can put it on low effort for simple stuff, high volume tasks where speed is all that matters. Then there's the balanced medium effort for most of your day-to-day work. Or, and this is the big one, you can crank it all the way up to high effort for those mission-critical jobs where you absolutely cannot afford a mistake. And you know what? This has a huge economic impact. At that medium effort setting, Opus 4.5 performs just as well as the older, top-tier models, but, and you gotta hear this, it does it using 76% fewer tokens. That just completely changes the math on cost for businesses. This focus on being super efficient also helps solve another massive headache when you're trying to build powerful AI agents. See, for an agent to be actually useful in a business, it needs access to thousands of different tools and APIs. So the question becomes, how do you give it all that access without bogging it down?
While the old way of doing things was just to cram all those tool definitions right into the prompt. But that's super expensive, it eats up the model's memory, and honestly, it just distracts the AI from what it's supposed to be doing. There's actually a name for this problem: context stuffing.
But Opus 4.5 has this really elegant solution called tool search. Basically, you can define this huge library of up to 10,000 tools, but you defer them, you keep them out of the way. Then only when the model actually needs a tool, it goes and dynamically finds the right one. And then it just injects the few relevant ones into the context. It's just brilliant.
So, okay, armed with all these powerful new tricks, Anthropic came out and made a really bold claim. The question is, did the data actually back it up? Oh, they did not mince words. They came right out and basically said that Opus 4.5 was the single best model in the world for software engineering. Full stop.
And you know what? On SWE-bench, which is kind of the gold standard for testing real-world coding skills, the numbers really do speak for themselves. Opus 4.5 became the first model ever to break that 80% barrier. It just decisively took the lead over both OpenAI and Google.
But it wasn't a total clean sweep. When it comes to general scientific and math reasoning, Google's Gemini 3 Pro still consistently came out on top. And this really drives home that whole specialization strategy we were talking about, right? These models are now being purpose-built for very different kinds of jobs.
And all of this brings us to what might be the single most important takeaway from this whole release. What we're seeing here is a fundamental shift in the AI market.
Yeah, we're seeing this great divergence happen. You can almost think of Gemini as the creative, right brain of the AI world. It's intuitive, great with media.
And then Claude has become the logical, analytical left brain. It's all about procedure, rigor, perfect for things like engineering and legal work. And if all that wasn't enough, Anthropic also went and slashed their prices by nearly 67%. This move was absolutely critical. Why? Because for the first time, it made this new, senior engineer-level AI actually affordable enough for everyday business use.
So here's the bottom line. We've officially moved past the era of looking for a single, best model that does everything. The question isn't which AI is the smartest anymore. Now it's which AI is the right tool for this job. And that really leaves us with a final thought to chew on. In the future of AI, are you going to hire a generalist or are you going to hire a specialist?